Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Singapore by Night. My name is Edward, and I'm part of the T4C crew. We normally play on Mondays at 7 p.m. Singapore time, and our normal campaign is in the weird and wonderful world of 2. It's a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign that happens on Mondays at this time, 7 p.m. Singapore time. But you're here on Thursday at 7 p.m. for session 0 of Singapore by Night, otherwise known as Singapore or Session 0. So we want to make it very clear, first of all, that this is going to be slightly less emo than you're used to and slightly less serious than you're used to for Vampire the Masquerade. It's going to be, as I like to call it, light horror comedy. So there's going to be some horror. Not as much as you're used to, though. And probably a lot of horror is going to be at the quality of the jokes. Joining me on this insane journey, I have 3 amazing players, starting with the man who's actually set up this incredible overlay. Playing Tariq, it's Ramji
Hello, how are you? Nice to see you all. And I promise you everything, the most emo edgelord Ramji you've ever come across. I'll be sitting here giving it my ultimate broodingness.
So your corporate self on Mondays.
Yeah, exactly. Just corporate Monday.
7 a.m. Ramji. And also we have with us the one, the only Sheena Chan playing Chantelle.
Chantelle. Actually not Lian this time. Enough Lian. No more Hokkien. I leave that to... wrong side.
And of course, the one, the only, the inimitable Jotan playing Moon.
Hi. So my name is actually Yue Yue. But she also goes by Moon. And as Sheena said, she is a Lian, but not any Lian, she's a Lao Lian. So let's find out what that's like.
Yes, not to be confused with Liu Lian, which is a durian.
Yeah.
Now, this game, folks, is set in modern day Singapore. And by that, we mean it is the 16th of September, 2021. And it is 7 p.m. The sun is setting as our 3 protagonists rouse from their sleep. So, to introduce their characters to you in more detail, we have these wonderful tools that the creators of 5th edition Vampire have put together called a relationship map. We're using a virtual whiteboard to represent that. And we're going to start, folks, with Chantelle.
Hello.
So, Chantelle, tell us about yourself. Yes.
Okay. Chantelle was recently embraced, maybe about a month ago. Previously, her childhood's been quite tough. Her mom died when she was young. Her dad is an alcoholic. I know he promised you a horror light, not so intense, but yeah, I came out with this backstory before this shit went down. Anyway, so Chantelle has like 4 siblings. She's the oldest, and so she's kind of spent her childhood taking care of all of them. She comes from a poor family, so it kind of sucked. Then, after that, she discovered the wonderful life of social escorting. Like some sugar babying on the side, some, actual hooking up with guys. And it fulfills 2 things for her: money and also a weird sense of getting close to another person. Because it's not something that she really has a lot in her life, but at the same time, she's kind of like a cat in a way. Like, you can get close enough that, okay, enough, thank you, goodbye. Oh yeah. Things were great, things were going fine. And then, because she's relatively well-spoken, she's relatively empathetic, like she listens to people, and eventually her clientele became a little bit more, high class, shall we say. And she caught the attention of this particular pimp. What's my pimp's name? Shit, I forgot.
John Smith,
No.
a.k.a.
Not that guy.
Oh, no,
the other
the
guy.
other one.
Yes. I had a
I
pimp
apologize.
whose name I forgot.
Oh, that's all right.
Yes, I had a pimp. And then he became like, he was the one who pushed me into a sort of higher society group of clientele, which is where I got to meet Theodore Tay, who is like a day trader, crypto guy, quite an otaku, in fact, but, is quite nice to me. And we maintained the relationship even thereafter. So one night, Chantelle gets introduced to a guy who calls himself John Smith. And he lives in a nice black and white bungalow on Mount Pleasant. Seems kind of ulu. The Grab pulls in and it's all, kind of foresty, kind of dark, away from the lights and everything. She's a bit creeped out, but it's a nice big house. So, door is opened by this nice Sikh gentleman in a big turban, looking, quite buff, standing by the door. You can tell that he used to work out, but, things have gone to seed a little bit. But yeah, nice gentleman called Pavinder Singh opens the door for her, and she meets John Smith, who suddenly decides that, hey, this girl is kind of interesting, and calls her back quite a few times. Each time she's not quite sure if they actually had sex. Something enjoyable happens, and she feels a little bit tired after that, but she's not entirely certain what happened. Until one night, when John Smith decides to embrace her and tells her that, guess what? I'm a vampire. And not just any vampire. John Smith honestly believes that he's Sir Stamford Raffles. Yes, that Sir Stamford Raffles. And
Before we go holding that Sir Stamford Raffles thought, Sheena, I'd like to bring us back one step. And for viewers who are new to this, what is the embrace like? What is the process like?
Yes. So the embrace is a process where a vampire almost drains you to the point of death and then feeds you his own blood or their own blood. And somehow your body starts to change. It's not like an immediate change. You don't wake up completely dead all of a sudden. But slowly by slowly, the changes take over and you start to become very pale. Food holds no meaning for you. In fact, some of you can't even eat it. You take some in and you immediately throw it up. And there's the hunger that does not go away. And it gnaws at you. Even if you think you've already fully fed, somehow it's just there.
And on that really dark note, let's go back to the person who embraced you. He thinks he's Sir Stamford Raffles. What's going on?
Yes, he does. So it turns out that John Smith / Sir Stamford Raffles is actually a Malkavian. And it seems as though his main delusion is the fact that he believes he's actually Sir Stamford Raffles. Although he is old enough, apparently, he's gone back long enough in the history books that he may just be, but no one really knows. And he seems to exert some influence in the politics and the land ownership of Singapore. But we're not too certain because that's only so much that he's willing to tell Chantelle. But what Chantelle does know about him is that he seems to treat her as his own personal Pygmalion project. Like he thinks this poor Heartlander girl needs some rescuing from her roots. And so therefore now she's holed up in his haven, which is the nice big black and white bungalow, and can't actually do much without him hovering like a creepy helicopter parent.
Ooh, thank you very much for that, Sheena. And so that's Chantelle. We're going to move on to Ramji's character, which is Tariq. Tell us about Tariq.
Well, Tariq is been in Singapore for about 7 or 8 years, in fact. His journey is a bit different to Chantal's. In fact, if anything, more on the buy side of the trade, if you will. And so he has a pretty interesting background. He grew up in the Levant, but actually won the green card lottery, went to the US, studied at Columbia, did math, not very well, but managed to get through. And kind of through a combination of random events, joined the US military as part of his path to American citizenship. It's a thing you can do there, right? So he joined the military. He got a citizenship after a few years. He doesn't disclose too much about what happens there, not for any other reason than the fact that I haven't worked out the backstory. Sorry, damn it.
So this is where I'm curious. How does he end up in Singapore? How does someone like that end up in Singapore?
Why, thank you for that save, Ed. Now, and so what happens is he then went to work at a place I'm more familiar with. I may have even crossed paths with Tariq at one point, which is he went to work at JP Morgan. He went to work as a FX trader at JP Morgan. And if you know one thing about FX traders is, they don't know anything about anything, right? They're the most primal and gutsy of traders, right? It's about having the ability to follow through on your convictions and react very, very fast to events, right? And he was good at this. And he and his desk head built up a friendship. Unbeknownst to him, his desk head was in fact a ghoul. He didn't realize this till much later.
What's the name of his desk head?
At that time, his desk head was called Frederick.
What is a desk head?
A desk head. It's the person that's responsible for the P&L, right. As in the book, as in whether you're profitable or not. They're the people who get paid the majority of the money on the desk. Right. Okay. But they also take the majority of the risk, right? So anyway, so that person was actually a ghoul, and they arranged a transfer to Singapore. And so he was like, well, I'm given to understand that my name means the act of making tea over there, but it also is the name of the evening caller. I've never really lived anywhere, as a American, other than America. So I plan on giving it a go. Why not? So he came over here and he worked out of the JP Morgan Tower downtown, where after a relatively small while, he realized that it's not so much fun being the small fish in the small pond. So he met a friend through this process, whose name is Sheena's friend called Theodore.
There we go. How complicated these things are. Look at this line that goes all the way across to here.
And Theodore,
you cancel out the
hours of rehearsal, folks. So Theodore, on the other hand, he introduced him to a really rather remarkable woman by the name of Samira. And Samira, it transpires, was very interested in Tariq, and initially he thought, well, of course she is.
Wait, how hot are you?
Not. I mean, he is, and he's buff as fuck, right? But he's a pretty horrible individual. You
can see why you got embarrassed.
Exactly. And so, but she, it transpires, was looking for somebody that both had a half decent understanding of markets, but also had a bit of more practical experience, which turns out Tariq has. So they struck up a friendship. She, to all intents and purposes, I don't know if this is the right term in V5, but she basically groomed him, right? And spent a long time, multiple years, come work on my hedge fund, then we give you menial jobs. Oh, by the way, can you do this? Can you pick up this parcel? Oh, go meet that guy. Can you solve that problem? Oh, a friend of mine's in a bit of trouble. They've lost some luggage. Can you help them get it back? That kind of stuff, right? And it slowly escalated to help me move this body, right? And it just kind of...
Did you ever find it strange that Samira only spoke to you at night?
No, because he's a fucking trader crypto rat, right? Ran most of the markets at different times of day and night. And yeah, I mean, there were times, but, it's hard to get cocaine in Singapore. But when you do, it's a hell of a drug. And she always managed to have these amazing parties with the most amazing drinks, and the wine was so good. And so after a while, turns out she asked him more and more help to how would she disappear if she wanted to disappear? How would she? And Samira is not just rich; she's fuck you rich, right? So she's fuck Jeff Bezos rich, right? So like
why would you want to fuck Jeff Bezos?
As in there's fuck this for a game of soldiers. I'm done. I can retire, be rich.
Okay.
And then there's fuck you. I don't need to care what I say to you, rich. And then there's go tell someone else to go fuck themselves, rich, right? So, but yeah. So and some of that's rubbed off on Tariq, but it was clear that she wanted to, well, in Tariq's mind, it was clear that she wanted to retire and not really deal with the tax implications of it. And so he was like, yeah, of course I can help you with this. And so he, used a bit of influence, spent a bit of time, built some fake identities, and helped, Samira disappear to all intents and purposes.
Nice.
He wasn't quite expecting her to disappear, though. But the thing she did before she disappeared, seeking permission from the prince, was to provide a suitable substitute to the local court.
Okay.
One who was experienced in manipulating money, but not directly controlled by the Ventru. One who is happy to get their hands a little dirty, perhaps very dirty, perhaps really dirty, and who was able to disappear, who was able to make other people disappear, make their tracks and traces disappear as if they never were. And so Tariq was embraced. And
it was a bit,
and it wasn't great because Tariq is gay.
Oh.
And as a result, he was like, no, this isn't how, I don't think we're just, and she just overpowered him.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong. I mean, spend a life in finance, you deal with some real assholes. So it's not really this isn't a sob story. He's fully aware of the fact that actually, if he understood the trade beforehand, he wouldn't have had to be overpowered. He'd have been like, cool, where do I sign? But it was just an in the moment thing. And so consent matters, but power matters more in Tariq's mind.
Good. Very nice. Thank you for that, Ramji. And we're going to come back. By the way, folks, I'm just going to, before we go on to Joe, just to remind you, if at a lot of points I refer to Sheena and ask her about stuff, it's because she's played this the longest amongst the four of us here. She's most familiar with the system.
I played it for half an hour 12 years ago.
So let's move on to Joe Tan. So just for context, Ramji, how much Vampire have you played in your life?
I played a lot of first edition Vampire the Masquerade, and I thought it was a wonderful game, including some live action role playing. And I played that in 1995 through 1996, maybe like 96. So
25
Was
years.
Christine born?
Cheryl wasn't.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even sure Hans was. Half our audience wasn't. So yeah, no. So yeah, I love the game. Yeah,
Lisa wasn't. Yeah,
no, Lisa was. No, maybe she wasn't. No, I don't know.
Perhaps.
Let's go with wasn't and be nice.
Cannot math.
But either way, yeah. So 27 years ago.
Nice. And Joe, what's your experience with Vampire the Masquerade before you start your character?
I was wrong. So I played half an hour bit 20 years ago. Basically, a friend of mine who was fond of wearing capes was like, hey, let's play a game. I joined the game and I essentially went like, oh yes, well, who's this prince guy? I attack him. And all his like friends were like, no, we can't play with them, we can't play with us. Like, okay, fine. So I will try not to make the same mistake again.
Will Moon make the same mistake? Let's find out. Tell us about Moon.
Okay, so everybody, Moon is her name is actually Yue Yue or Xiao Yue lah. But basically, she joined the company. So Yue means moon in Chinese. She's kind of like she's a hustler. Like she's not terribly highly educated, but she makes a living. She used to sell illegal DVDs when people still had DVD players. Then she drives Grab, she sort of like delivers Grab food Panda. And then then she decided to get into the brave new world of live streaming, sales live streaming. Essentially, when somebody goes like, "Hey, okay, hi everybody, wow, I'm gonna sell this dress to you. Wow, nice, right? You know, it's so cheap. You know, I put it on. Look, it really accentuates my figure." She decided to do that because she's really quite savvy. You know, and she saw the way the winds were changing, how everything was moving online, and she got scouted by a live stream company. These are companies that I think exist all over the world, but especially in Singapore, if you're a Chinese speaking, you're pretty good at sales and you're kind of humorous. People do have live stream companies where they hire professional sales live streamers. So she joined that company. She was scouted by this older lady who, because she used to be a part-time actress, she had a stage name as well, which was Ming Xing, or like Shining Star. But then she called herself Star, and and she decided to give Xiao Yue a stage name as well, which was Moon, just to be clear that she was under the sort of like live stream company umbrella. So Moon was pretty good, but she had a certain clientele where, for example, if she sold branded bags or she sold perfume, her clientele wasn't so interested in watching her. They wanted to watch like hot young guys do it.
Right.
But what really works, because she's kind of like in her 30s, you know, kind of thing. She's kind of really chatty. What she managed to sell very well was anti-aging products as well as skin whitening products.
Could I take a quick moment to ask you the name of the live streaming company?
Yes, you can. It's called River of Fortune. Yes, that's what it's called. I totally thought about that.
Oh, fortune.
River of Fortune, yes, otherwise known as I don't know, Fu Chuan or something like that.
Fu Chuan.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So FC. Like
and you all sell
we sell all kinds of
anti-aging
things.
products.
So basically, like clients will engage Fu Chuan to sell different products, and their live streamers will hawk them. So we can sell everything from branded bags to perfumes to, in my case, they found out that my niche was really anti-aging as well as whitening, basically skin perfecting products. So I was okay at my job. In fact, I was, I think, the top live streamer for that brand of products.
Wow.
And eventually, I think my employer, Star, decided that, okay, you know, like, this woman is doing well, but she's got a limited shelf life. And so Star decided to change that, because what better way to sell whitening and anti-aging products than by using a vampire? So, I mean, I always knew there was something shady about the company, I think, but I just accepted, hey, this is show business, you know, basically everybody just pulls their weight. Star can sort of boss everybody around the room. So the young live streamers, the young male live streamers especially, she's almost like, come to my room, and they go there, they disappear for a long time, they come out a bit paler, and I'm just like, oh, you know, don't ask any questions, they're giving me work. And one
She's
day...
sucking them dry, yes.
What?
She's sucking them dry, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So one day I got essentially the summons to go to the office. I was like, oh no, am I going to get fired? And then Star was like, how much do you want this job? And then of course Moon was like, oh no, you know, I want it. I will dedicate my life to this company. You know, I am so passionate about live streaming. And then she thought that Star was coming on to her. She was like, oh well, you know. Be worse. I've heard worse stories about show business. Just like sort of like she lay back and thought of England, and then the next thing she knew, like, oh, okay, she was a vampire, and she got even more successful at selling whitening as well as anti-aging products. Yes, but her streams are always in the evening, which they are anyway, because people have to be at home. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction, Joe, and thank you to Sheena and Ramji as well. Now, the next step, as part of character creation, in Vampire 5th edition, you have these things called convictions and touchstones. So, because really, I've been studying this only for a week, I'm going to defer to Sheena and ask Sheena to explain what convictions and touchstones are.
Okay, so as you move from life into unlife, there are certain human beliefs that you hold very dearly to you, even after you've passed. And these are a way for you to cling on to your humanity and not just become this mindless blood-sucking fiend. So these, in a way, it provides a way for the ST to, the storyteller, to build stories, motivate your character, or give you issues. And that each conviction is usually tied to a human touchstone. A human touchstone can be anybody. It could be a celebrity, it could be a regular person, it could be but it has to be somebody that you are like able to access in some way. So like you probably can't really pick, say, Brad Pitt, because how would you get access to him from Singapore, for example? But yeah, so if things happen to your touchstones, it can drive you nuts, literally drive you nuts. Like it might make you go into a frenzy and things like that. And usually they are people that you want to protect. Although some people do have touchstones that they feel negatively towards. Like in my other coterie, one of my coterie mates has her abusive father as a touchstone, and he's like forever keeping an eye and trying to make his life difficult. So like small sabotage in there. That sort of thing. Like, you don't die, but I will make your life miserable. That sort of situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and on that note, Chantelle, what are your convictions and what are the touchstones associated with them?
Yes. So one of my touchstone is singer-songwriter Inch Tra. I actually asked her, Inch, can I use you as my touchstone? And she was like, yes, okay. Yeah. So listening to her music and kind of helped Chantelle keep going when she was younger, and so she's kind of maintained Inch as a way of clinging on to humanity. And the conviction linked to her is art is crucial for maintaining humanity. So while Chantelle herself doesn't sing or write songs and stuff like that, she does sketch. So she makes it a point to keep up with her art and so on, especially because based on what she sees. Yes, that's all I'll say. Okay, another touchstone that she has is her youngest sister, Jennifer Chu. And the conviction linked to that is, my family must not know what I have become. So there's one other thing about this. There are these things known as your humanity stains, and the touchstones, if you act, depending on your actions, sometimes you might do something that really goes against what everything else says you should do, and you would normally, get stains to your humanity. If you act in accordance of protecting your touchstones, it can mitigate the damage a little bit. So it's not so bad. Okay, so yeah, my family must not know what I've become. And the third one I have is Joshua Kang, who is my pimp.
Okay, there we go. There he is.
I couldn't find his name anywhere. Okay. Joshua Kang. Yes, and the conviction linked to Joshua is, I must get paid for what I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. So these are all Chantelle's touchstones. Ramji, what's your conviction? What's your touchstone?
So my conviction is that, Tariq came to the conclusion, especially after Samira died, but even before, disappeared with me, but even before then, that his experiences as a trader, his experiences in the military, and his experiences growing up in Lebanon, he realized that the one commonality was, without the strength to protect those you care about, there's no point doing anything. And so he's adopted a very focused attitude towards acquiring strength and power for the purpose, as he sees it, of protecting those he loves. Or those, not even that he loves, I'm not sure he has that, of those he feels he must protect.
So,
and in terms of touchstones, so there's a couple of things. When he moved over here, actually a couple of years after he moved over here, his sole surviving or major surviving relative of his immediate family was his grandmother. And he managed to, because it was different back then, he managed to bring her over on an LTVP. Right?
In
So
a
she was
what?
able-
Sorry?
long-term visitor pass.
Okay, thank you.
Right? And sorry, it's it's a thing. It's a thing us temporaries have to deal with. So brought her over on a long-term visitor pass, and she was able to stay here. And so, although she didn't live with him or anything like that, because that would cramp his style, he was able to set her up, and she was very happy. And she didn't live very long, unfortunately, because she didn't. But her daily circuit was one that she enjoyed a great deal, and she would get up. She would walk around the bookstores in Braz Bazaar Center. You know, the ones where you go up and down the steps, and there's the random one with the person that doesn't actually ever seem to have a book. I have no idea why they didn't have a book, but then you get up to the top floor, and then there's amazing shops, like the one with the art books and the other ones right there. And she would love it. She's not the most educated of women herself, but she enjoyed very much the times as well, that the occasional times Tariq could be able to run out, his schedule being what it is, to spend time walking around these shops with her. And she struck up a friendship with the owners of these shops. And she realized that there was nothing in it for these people. Like, he could buy this shop 5 times over. Tariq is rich beyond most people's imagination, and certainly Samira was even more so. And so he offered, he said a couple of times, he was sort of, I'll buy you a shop. I'll buy you 2 shops. I'll buy you 10 shops. And he realized that there was something else that she cared about that wasn't about it. He doesn't understand what it is, but he sees that it exists. He sees it happen with at least 2 or 3 of the people who work in these shops, where they make time in their day for the people that come by, even if they're not buying anything. They talk about things. They give space for other people. Right? It's a wonderful. Yes, Ramji gets it. I know you guys get it. Tariq has no fucking idea what this is, right? But he sees it as a thing of wonder, a thing of beauty, a thing that needs protecting. He's not able to really identify how it comes to be. I think we call it empathy, but he knows it exists, and he specifically now considers these bookstores to be under his protection. He's bought them quietly in the background. He's in fact bought the entire Braz Bazaar complex quietly in the background. But it's also a case of he's made a few people who've looked the wrong way and members of that family disappear. He's a bit of a Dexter. Right. He's a bit indiscriminate at times.
Okay, so Ramji, I'm going to just have to clarify, because your resources 3 dots. I'm going to say
4.
4. Your resources,
I get a free
4.
one from,
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to say that you've bought the entire top level, because the building is a bit beyond that.
Really? Sorry, that's right. It's just because I don't know the system. It was just it said private jets and all the rest of it, and I was like, okay,
yes.
That
building is really expensive.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Because of where it is.
Oh, okay. Location-wise.
Also, there's a block of flats or 2 above it.
I guess it's the airspace as well, right?
But the entire top level is yours.
Okay.
And I need the name of an individual.
Yeah.
Who is
still alive.
One individual.
Yeah, let's say that actually it's someone that exists, so I need to change that name slightly. It's there is a middle-aged gentleman by the name of Suresh. He's actually been working there for about 12 years or so. He's not related to the family that owns it, but he just works there. He has a little bordering on a Hitler stash. It's not quite, but it's a ever so slightly like grown out stash from here. He's lovely. He's just a really nice guy. There's a guy there who's very nice, but yeah, a similar kind of guy. It doesn't quite have the Hitler stash, but the kind of person that's just will open books for you and bring you other books just so that you can see the other books, and nothing's
lovely. Okay.
Oh, so the conviction is usually like always or never type statement. Very, 10 Commandments of the Bible kind.
The conviction is the power thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's 2 things. There's the touchstone and the conviction. So
the touchstone is linked to the conviction.
So his conviction, so far as I understand it, Tariq's conviction is to protect the bookstores.
The bookstores must be protected.
Sure. Okay. I guess. I mean, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Thanks, Sheena.
Sure. That's good clarity.
Okay. Ramji, make that note, okay?
Okay.
The bookstores must be protected.
Yeah.
Because that's important, because, with actors, right? We're like, what's your motivation?
What's my motivation?
What is it? And it's
So if
really important.
something happens to Suresh, like he dies or something, the conviction can go away.
Yeah. Or if something happens to the bookstores, it may be a hit to you also.
Mm.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
I need a reason to burn down everything.
So the funny thing about VTM is kind of like you're setting yourself up for being fucked over.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
I mean-
here are all my keys to fuck me over with. Yay! It's quite a BDSM in a way.
Oh dear.
Hopefully in this game, those keys and the fucking over will be done by yourself. The best way to fuck yourself over. All right, Joe, your
Yes,
conviction and
I
your
totally
touchstone.
thought about this and knew about this before Sheena and Robbie said a single word. So here is my conviction. My conviction is that after hard work comes the reward. I mean, basically in Chinese, 先苦后甜. So after lots of hard work, you have to, like fate will be kind to you, heaven will be kind to you. She still believes in that. And that's tied to her mother. Her mother, which oddly enough has a Christian name because she used to, I don't know, I think she used to be a sales girl in a lingerie shop in Toa Payoh. And then so people just found it easier to say her English name. Her name is Agatha Lau. Yep. So Agatha, and then she's worked really hard her whole life. You know, she sold lingerie. She's worked in a coffee shop. She was a security guard. She was like one of the toilet attendants outside the toilet that collects 50 cents from you to let you go in and then gives you a pack of tissue. And this is also why Moon Yue Yue feels kind of bad and is hustling so hard. That's why she did so many jobs as well. She feels bad that she never completed her education. So anyway, so that's her touchstone. She believes that her mother should be rewarded for all the hard work that she's done. And I mean, as a corollary of that, she feels that Moon, she feels also that she should be rewarded for all her hard work. She kind of sees becoming a vampire as a reward, actually. I mean, she's ever since she started live streaming, she's hungry all the time anyway. So she doesn't really see much of a difference from that.
Okay.
Another one of her touchstones, another one of her convictions, as well as her touchstones, the conviction would be that if you do good.
So I'm just going to confirm first. The first one is I must be rewarded after
people are rewarded after.
People are rewarded after
hard work.
So this is your conviction, right? People are rewarded. So make a note of that, okay?
Yeah, okay.
People are rewarded after hard work.
Okay.
And that's related to your mother, Agatha Lau.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a second conviction?
Second conviction is that if you do good, don't boast about it. And that's why she it's a strong belief of hers from her religious upbringing, just basically do good quietly and you'll be it's tied to the first one, you'll be rewarded in your future life, so you don't have to boast about it. So that's why what she's really fond of is animals. Actually, she really loves animals. She has a doggy at home that is too big for her HDB flat that she sort of rescued off the streets. Like, so doggy's not actually allowed in the HDB flat, but she's been hiding him. She's a little bit sad that the doggy is a bit more wary of her now that she's been embraced. The doggy is called Laymond, Laymand, and this is just named after a live streamer that she respects very much. It's like a Tower Bing live streamer.
Called Layman.
Laymond, if you want. And doggy is because she only has 1 point in Animal Ken. But I mean, so she gets along with him, but he treats her differently after.
I'm gonna say your doggy has gotten used to you.
Okay, my doggy has gotten used to me. Great.
After the initial period of being wary of you, your doggy has become quite used to who you are.
Okay, great. I can only walk my doggy at night, so he's not pleased about that. Especially since I'm live streaming at night. But otherwise, yeah. So, am I allowed to have an animal touchstone?
I'll give you this one. It's supposed to be human, but I'll give you this one.
Okay, it's fine. I mean, otherwise,
I'm telling you that Layman.
It's probably good to not have that because as a personal line thing, I really get upset when animals get harmed. So
okay.
it'll be kind of good.
All right.
If we're setting ourselves up for the storyteller to fuck us over, then he's going to do something to your dog.
That's fine. So basically, I'm
going to go John Wick. Ramji's going to go John Wick.
I accepted that Layman is of course,
Thank
he's got a shorter lifespan than all of us. So I've managed not to touchstone him. However, so I am fond of somebody else that I'm kind to in my office, who is the ghoul of my sire or siress, who is Star, who is one of the poor boys, the poor young fair K-pop looking boy live streamers who's constantly being called into her office. And I'm like, hey,
Actually, I looked at your
okay?
sheet. You mentioned the head of a animal charity that you.
Yeah, can I change that? No.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. Go on. The ghoul, the K-pop boy.
Yeah. Okay.
What's his name?
His name is Lawrence. Lollance. Is the name he gave himself. Lance. So Lawrence, he sells handbags as well as women's perfumes in my live stream company, and he is the ghoul of Sasa. So I feel kind of bad for him, and I still drink from him because he's one of my herd, but I am protective over him.
Oh wow! Oh, sorry. I don't
Why?
know how the Star view that. So
No. Okay, so wow, they have a really messed up setup. Because now, Joe, those are your two convictions and your two touchstones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because we can very quickly now move on to talking about your backgrounds in as much or as little detail as you like. Okay, so you can literally, like Sheena, you can say, oh, my herd are my customers. And we can leave it at that, and we understand.
Yes.
Or if you want to go into detail, sure, go ahead. But just very briefly, we'll start with Sheena, move on to Ramji, and then to Joe. Tell us about your background thoughts.
oh yes, let me take a look at my background dots.
What's backgrounds?
I believe it's under
Your money!
advantages
And flaws.
flows.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Your money.
So I have two dots in herd. My herd are my Johns. My life is full of Johns. I is a John. My herd is John. Anyway, yeah. So they are basically a lot of the clients that she used to have, and because now she realizes that she doesn't really need to do that for money anymore, she keeps them around still for money and for food. And she kind of tweaked it such that because it's two dots, I get to choose one resonance. Resonance is a flavor of the blood that can boost certain abilities that vampires have. So I've chosen what's that called?
Cleric.
Wait, no, sorry, phlegmatic.
Phlegmatic, okay.
Yes, phlegmatic resonance. So these are like calmer, lazier people. Yeah.
Okay. Just very quickly for the rest of you who have heard, and if you don't want to bother with the 4 flavors of humans, which is what they are:
Chocolate.
angry,
Vanilla.
sad, happy,
Strawberry.
horny. Okay, just ish. If you don't want to bother with that, one of the producers of Vampire 5th Edition actually runs this game without ever referencing them. He just does not give a crap about it. It's perfectly fine.
Of human.
It's perfectly fine. So if Sheena wants it, I'm happy to work with her with it. If you don't want to bother about it, it doesn't
It's
have to be a
okay.
thing.
It doesn't really bother me.
What's the point of it?
It gives you extra dice. Sorry, Sheena, go ahead.
Yeah, it gives you extra dice when you're rolling for certain abilities. Like
That's all.
mainly your disciplines. I want to say disciples. That's not right.
Yeah. So the idea is that blood has flavor. To flavor the blood, the emotions of the container of the blood must be manipulated accordingly. So if you want your blood to taste happy, make the container happy. If you want the blood to taste horny, if you want the blood to taste sad, if you want the blood to taste angry, if you want the blood to taste full of protein, you get somebody who's really jacked. You know what I'm saying, folks?
Yeah, they're going back to the 4 humors, which is choleric, melancholy, phlegmatic, and sanguine.
Sanguine?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also animal blood for your animalism protein people.
Yeah. Tariq opted out that conversation when you said emotions, and he went, no.
Also, just a warning for those of you who might think about feeding on animals. This is a rule which I think I have to keep in this game. There's a price to feeding on animals. If you feed on an animal, as a rule, they die. Okay, any animal, unless it is a bear or above size. Humans, you can feed on them and they don't have to die.
Cows,
Cows, yeah lah, can lah. Bear size, right? But humans, okay, the idea is that you can never reach hunger zero unless you drain a human completely to death. Okay, otherwise your hunger minimum is 1. The only way to reach 0 is to drink completely dry. Just keep that in mind. Okay, Sheena, anything else in your background that you feel is significant you want to talk about?
Oh yes. So I have 2 dots in resources from my escort days. I have 2 dots in beautiful because I've chosen siren as my feeding style. And also, cause if you want to do this thing, you have to be beautiful. And then yes, then I have 3 dots in ally. My ally being Theodore Tay, the otaku cryptocurrency expert day trader. Yes.
Okay.
And he's that basically the more dots you have in an ally just basically means he's more useful, more reliable, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I just want to make a note that Theodore and the NFT artist that he's linked to is also related to Tariq.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Theodore works for Tariq in one of Tariq's businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sheena, anything else? Otherwise, we move on to Ramji.
No, that's it for my background dots.
Thank you very much, Ramji.
I guess there's a few things, and should I start with flaws?
As much or as little as you like. Just basically, it's the highlights.
So I
I
have 2 dots in enemy, but I have no idea who this enemy is. Like Ed.
You know what? We can build this later.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
however
you have
but
an
what I'm
enemy.
saying is like it's one of those ones that I'm happy to be blindsided. Is what I'm saying.
You
Right.
got, you got it from your feeding style?
I got it from. I think I took it actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I got
Cool.
1 dot in enemy for my feeding style.
Yeah, no, I took it. My feeding style is Sandman.
Mr. Sandman.
So that means I like to eat people who are asleep, because honestly, I don't have to get into a conversation with them. It's really what it boils down to, right? I just don't have the time or the empathy to really get to know somebody, at least give them the illusion, even just to use a bit of vampiric charm. It's just such a waste of time.
Right.
You know, I've got needs, they've got blood. And so it's much, much easier if they're asleep. I have a certain set of skills that allows that to happen without too much difficulty. In terms of resources, I have resources 4, 3 from things I bought, plus 1 I get as part of my background, which means I am filthy rich. Like Instagram people pretending to be rich.
Oh, right.
I have 1 point of herd, which is I think it says like 3 to 4 mortals, which I'm just basically going to nominate as a group of boyfriends who I've kind of variously set up in apartments, and are well kept men, and are just dangling out there, but actually they get rotated on a semi-regular basis. Every now and then one of them disappears. It's fine. There's always Grinder. And then the last thing I have is I have 3 dots in mask, and what that means is I was able to buy zeroed, which means that if you look at Tariq, if you do a full background search on Tariq, he exists. All of the details are there. Everything about his time in the US military, his time at JP Morgan, his service, absolutely all of that is 100% documented, but none of it's real.
Aha, nice.
Nice.
Okay, thank you, Ramji. And Joe?
Right. So I'm very average. I've got 2 dots in fame because lots of people apparently like to buy anti-aging products from this live streamer. She's been shared on Mothership a few times.
Nice.
Some of her virals went video like the S-hook girl, like, hey, wow, I got this talk got a lot of holes, I can hook here, I can hook there. Wow, I'm a hooker.
You are basically, oh my God.
Like that. And she just went viral. So yeah, she's got 2 dots in fame, and she's got 1 dot in linguistics. Basically, she's picked up lingo from the different languages in Singapore just to appeal to all the different languages. Like she can say like various dialects. She can also.
I'm gonna give you that one dot as Singlish colloquialisms. So that allows you
Malay
to have little phrases
right
in every Singlish
right
element,
She
but
can-
not functional,
right.
full
So she can say
command of the thing.
things like
This is great.
like siapa,
This is very good for you.
like apa ni,
So you can. It's enough for you to be able to buy stuff
buy stuff
from a vendor or haggle
or like
ask
make
for-
yourself sound more appealing on live streams, like just throwing random like good mornings in.
Yes, and so it will allow you to
Nama pagi.
communicate, but you don't have the full language. is what I'm saying.
Right. She can say gundu and kutamali.
Good the money.
That yeah, there we go. So she can say things like that, and various like Mandarin dialects as well.
Cool.
Okay, so I mean that's also a result of a live streaming background. She has 2 dogs in her. So basically, she's in a pretty abusive relationship with her boss. You know, unfortunately, it is a truth that with a lot of the web-based sort of like streaming companies, especially the Chinese-speaking ones in Singapore, it's kind of toxic. Where the bosses kind of like they have this cult leader status. In this case, of course, it's true because the boss is the sire, is her sire. As far as she knows, she's the only one who's been embraced. But I mean, the rest of them are kind of ghouls. I mean, her feeding style is consensualist. So basically, because of her beliefs as well, she doesn't want to drink from anybody who doesn't know about it, who isn't willing. So she kind of like, her boss hasn't said she can't. Her boss knows essentially when she embraced her, and when she asked the boss, so like, where do you get your blood from? And she was like, Lawrence.
Lawrence.
So Moon is like, oh, Lawrence. And the boss hasn't said she can't. So she kind of guessed that she's drunk from Lawrence before, like just like, hey, don't mind. She's taken a few sips. Not all of them in the office are ghouls, but she's taken a few sips from the boys who are obviously being called very, very regularly into her boss's office. The boss has not said anything thus far, but the boss is just generally somebody who's always keeping them on their toes. You never know when she's going to erupt and say, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I never allowed you to do it. So she's just kind of like sneaking around as much as she can without overtly saying that she's doing these things. Right. So that's a herd. Basically, it's her colleagues in the office. Like one of them, including Lawrence, who's a friend, actually had to guide her like, hey, not so much, I'm going to die. So that's how it works. She's also when she's gone clubbing before, not so much clubbing, but sort of pubbing because COVID, right? So, and like whenever like some of the guys try and pick up this slightly cougarish, attractive looking woman, then she'll like, so she has this full American accent, like, hi, I'm the last drummer, and oh yeah, you recognize me? Yeah. And then they'll be like, hey, by the way, I look so young all the time because I'm a vampire. And so some of them, they'll be like, what a funny joke tonight. How can I show you? And then she will like feed on them. She'll take that as consent. But so that's an alternative source of feeding. She's got
just a reminder that every time you do that, that's technically not overtly, but technically a masquerade breach.
Yeah, that's one of her flaws. She's a masquerade breacher. So in her, she's also got 2 dots in looks because she knows how to take care of herself.
Damn.
And her 1 dot is she's disliked because she hosts in that ridiculous accent. So some people don't like her. She has an adversary because there's lots of other live streamers out there who are like, what the hell? This is bullshit.
Have you decided who that adversary is, or you want to do it later?
Sure. Her name is Xue
I love it. Oh my goodness.
It's just like, okay. It's a play on the name of this infamous blogger in Singapore who can hawk anything and get away with all kinds of shit. So yeah, that's her adversary.
Wow.
And yeah, she's a masquerade breacher because she's a consensualist. And that's a pre-exclusion as well. So yeah.
Okay. Before I throw you all into the session, the last thing I need to ask you all, because spoiler alert, it will begin more or less in Elysium. Okay, you will be presented to the prince. The idea is, if you don't already know it, each of your characters is a big deal. Okay. Your sires, whether you know it or not, it costs a boon with the prince to approve your embrace. It costs them quite a big deal. So whatever your relationship with your sire, know that they pay a price to embrace each and every one of you. What I do need to know, starting with Sheena, going on to Ramji and then to Joe again, I need to know what your sire has been teaching you, has taught you prior to sending you to Elysium. Okay. So, Chantelle.
Okay. So John has taught me the traditions and that there are some important people. He was surprisingly thorough in his education. Like he pulled out a whiteboard and wrote down like who I need to be careful of, who's
Very
important.
Pygmalion.
Yeah, he just, schooled me as much as he could about being prepared for my first night at Elysium. So I understand that the prince is, a local person, shall we say? And it seems as though John himself isn't very certain of how conservative or religious he is. So, Chantelle's prepared herself by wearing something relatively formal, relatively, decent, that should not make her stand out in a bad way. Yes.
So your sire has taught you well enough that
Oh yes.
if asked, you can recite the 6 traditions of the Camarilla.
Yes.
And he's told you what the Camarilla is.
Yes.
Cool.
He's basically giving me the the Camarilla 101.
Proper education. Good.
That's right.
Okay. We're going to move on to Ramji. Ramji, how much did Samira tell you?
So Samira embraced me a reasonable amount of time ago, maybe 6 months, maybe slightly longer than that.
Okay.
So not actually, like I said, spent a lot of time preparing me beforehand. The reason she did that is because she wanted me to make sure I understood where my loyalties lie.
Okay.
And my loyalties lie with the let's just say the sect of my clan.
I'm going to tell you, Ramji, that Singapore's prince is Banu Hakim.
Which is very useful to know.
Samira has told you that it is her, and she says her name, I don't know whether you want to take this down or not, is Puan Bulang.
Say again?
Puan Bulang. I'm just going to bring this up here.
I'll also type it in the Twitch.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just put it up on screen. This is the prince. Okay. So you know who the prince is. You specifically have been told about Puan Bulang.
And is she warrior, sorcerer, or vizier?
Samira did not tell you that.
Okay.
She does tell you never to speak directly to her.
Sure.
And never ever expect her to speak directly to you.
Okay. So Samira made it clear to Tariq that they are part of the viziers. And as a result of being part of the viziers, therefore his obsessiveness around certain things became more and more heightened, as was her obsessiveness around it. Hence his fastidiousness around leaving no trace of his activities. His businesses are owned by many, many people, and many dead ends are found when trying to unite who their owners are. In the same way, she also, being a vizier, they spent a brief and significant period in a kind of mentor-mentee relationship. And then she basically said, I've got something else to do. You'd better do whatever the prince needs from you, and me, by the way. I'll be back at some point. And having created no ability to find her, because he cut out all of the information about her from all existence, she
You, Tariq, have been invited to Elysium by a gentleman who comes to you in traditional Malay dress, and he spoke to you in Bahasa, which you don't understand. Then he sighed and handed you a card on which is written very formally in English, in calligraphic letters in English, giving you the location of Elysium, the time of it, and telling you that when you arrive, go straight to look for either, ask for the sheriff when you arrive. Okay, those were your instructions. Okay, ask for the sheriff when you arrive. Joe, how much has Star told you about?
So Star tends to withhold information because again, it's a balance of power thing for her. Star likes to be the only person holding all the cards and likes to keep me on my toes. She has briefed me about the 6 traditions. When it comes to domain, though, she has made it very clear that wherever I go, I am the lowest ranking person. I'm only there on sufferance.
Ooh.
So do we have a domain? I don't even know. Like basically, I can't do anything without her permission. Yeah. So I mean, but the sort of like broad strokes of this traditions she's told me, and she's told me to dress my best for a networking event with some really high powered people. I mean, my best is flashy, lots of sequins. Yeah.
Has she told you about the punishments for breaching the traditions? Did Sasa ever tell you that?
She said that on pain of death, but I think she says that a lot.
So you're not quite sure, like, oh, everything also die.
I'm not quite sure. Yeah, basically, I don't know where the lines are.
So I'm gonna say, Chantelle and Moon, you are being brought to Elysium by your sires.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm just going to switch the screen out so that we can show you just where we are. Just switching the sharing, folks. Just give me a moment. We'll share another screen. Just this one.
I love the background. Good job, Ramji.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, present. Come on.
When the river looks like blood.
This is the location of the... Thanks for that, Ramji. This is the location in the daytime. There's no nighttime photo of this, I apologize. It's Pasir Panjang Power Station. The time is 8 p.m. as you arrive. Each of you, I'm not going to make you roll. Just remember that you're arriving at 1 hunger.
Okay.
Okay? The very lowest, I'm going to assume that you have come fed because, yeah, it's very obvious. The first to arrive, I believe, would be Tariq. So Tariq, I'm going to take you very quickly through what happens. Tariq, when you enter, this is what you see. It's already a bustle of activity. It's been done up inside.
Oh, wow.
And you notice that there appears to be an event for some sort of product launch as you enter. And you've been to a lot of these, Tariq, and you can smell bullshit when you see it. There is no product to be launched. And especially not when there is this guy sitting on a ladder on one end of the space in the abandoned power station. And he's just sitting there. You notice from a distance, you can tell he's dressed in some sort of blue, traditional Malay garb, as if he was some sort of silat master. And when you entered, you said you wished to see the sheriff. And this is the man they directed you to. As you go to him, he steps off the ladder. He says to you, and I kid you not, this is what he looks like, except imagine he's dressed in blue. And he says to you, you, Tariq, you are the new one. So it is your first time in Elysium, yes?
Ed, question.
Yes.
Tariq's not stupid, and therefore, I think I even have a point of etiquette, if I recall correctly, right?
Yes.
Is there a way that I'm supposed to respond to somebody that is clearly in a position of authority over me?
Samira has taught you that in the Banu Hakim, when you're speaking to your elders, you greet them with a sort of gentle bow, not a hard Japanese one, but gentle bow, and to speak to them deferentially. But you may look everyone in the eye except the prince.
Okay. So he will gently bow with his eyes kind of keeping an eye on him and obviously seeing that he's got a sword in his hand. And he will say, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. So
I have come.
you are, I believe, a believer, or are you not?
It's complicated.
That is okay. I will not hold you to any of that. You will find that many of us are more open-minded than we used to be. But it is your first time here, yes?
It is my first time, honored elder.
Good. You're Samira's child.
I am.
She has told you you do not look Wan Bulang in the eye.
She has.
She has told you that you do not speak directly to Wan Bulang.
She has.
I am Tuan.
Then I am better for your acquaintance.
I'm the sheriff of this city, and you will come with me, and you will see, well, obviously you cannot see the rest of us, but you will take your place next to us. You are young, but can you already hide yourself in the shadows?
Do you wish a demonstration?
No, I just don't want you to knock into anyone.
Then I
because the whole plan is standing on either side of the ladder.
Oh.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
He guides you to this place. You stand here and you disappear. And then you don't anyhow shake your hands, extend your hands out, don't test. Otherwise you accidentally touch someone, something happened. Not nice, lah. It's your first time here. But this is our place. This is where we stand, we watch. Remember, we are the rulers here. Okay? We behave like the rulers. Okay, Tariq?
Yes, elder. And he will use, I believe it's unseen passage to take, looking. Here's he does have a question.
Do you have obfuscate 1? It's my question.
I have obfuscate 3, but
perfect.
But obfuscate what I have obfuscate 2, which means I can disappear and move. But the question is, what I don't have is any auspex.
Yes.
To be able to know where there's a space.
Which is why he guided you to a space. And
he guided me to space. Thank you.
He said, don't move your arms.
Got it.
Otherwise, you're going to touch someone. And something might happen.
Yeah. And so.
Oh my god, is the whole clan like, are they able to see the awkward moment?
Yeah, so you're about to find out how stupid things can get. But for the moment, let's assume that it works, okay? But the whole plan's there. And you see he carefully steps gingerly back to the ladder. And then, okay. And then he climbs back on the ladder, which goes squeak, 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 squeak. And then he takes his place, looking very cool again, leaning over to one side like that, on the ladder. He's the only visible Banu Hakim. But to you, that's also true. Tariq.
You very silently hear, and he knows that there's a chance they'll hear it. So he's saying silently and respectfully, but he's kind of going, I realize there is always a non-zero possibility that I am the only person here, and I've just been asked to take a long wait. But I perceive that is also my role in this, so I shall wait.
You hear sniggering to your left and right.
Okay, all right. He feels a bit better. He feels a bit better.
There's a soft pat on your shoulder. from the left. We go back to Chantelle and Moon. The two of you arrive at about the same time in. I'm gonna say that Chantelle and Moon, your sires are driving you there. They park.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the two of you actually meet at the entrance. You've never met before.
Okay.
But your sires look at each other, and you notice, Moon, that Star visibly frowns at the Angmo
Okay.
that Chantelle is with, the white man that Chantelle is. She's like, she gives this sour ass face.
Okay.
And then she goes very loudly
Right.
and then pulls you in.
Okay. I feel obliged to be the courteous one. I usually have to smooth over Star's paths because Star is quite explicit with her emotions. So I'm like, hi. Yeah, we're here for the party, so we're here to do the networking too. Let's see, okay? And then I sort of look at Chantelle, who's Chinese. I'm like, hey, how are you? See you inside. Nice dress.
Okay.
Nice dress.
Oh, yeah, yours too. Very shiny.
Thank you. See you inside. See you inside.
Okay, see you.
Okay.
Chantelle, I'm going to ask you, what does John Smith say anything to you before you enter?
He kind of turns over to Chantelle, looks her up and down, like brushes off some invisible lint. Yes, perfect. Straightens out her hair a little bit. Yes, I know you will do me proud, darling. Yes.
All of us go together.
Yeah.
Okay, you enter Elysium, and yes, it's a product launch for ostensibly the iPhone 13. I'm just gonna ask. I don't want to look at your stats. I'm just gonna ask both of you, Sheena, Joe. Would your characters be able to smell the bullshit?
Smell the bullshit.
What kind of stats do you want for bullshit smelling?
Probably
Insight?
What would be an insight roll? Is it wits or intelligence?
Then it's inside. It's on this.
Oh, insight. Oh, it's an insight.
Yeah, but no, you usually pair it with one of the attributes and then one of the skills.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like intel, insight, wits, insight, depending on whether it's like a fast thing or like a more of a you study things.
Sheena, how many dots in insight do you have?
3.
Okay. Joe, how many dots in insight do you have?
2.
Both of you can smell the bullshit from a mile away. You walk in and you know that this is not an iPhone 13 launch.
Oh, I do have one thing because there's an entire clan of invisible Banu Hakim. I'd like to let you know that I have Auspex 2.
Mm-hmm.
My first dot in Auspex is Sense the Unseen. It's always on, and I can actually see people who are obfuscated.
Okay.
Is that a role thing or is it automatically you can see?
It's a
have
wits
to
plus
switch
Auspex.
on thing.
No, don't have to.
Oh, don't have to switch on. Okay.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's just passive. It's forever on, which doesn't help because she already hears voices, so now she sees things.
Why don't you roll it? I'll let you roll it as you enter.
Okay, so the roll is wits plus Auspex against a difficulty chosen by the ST, and my wits is 4. And
you need 3. Tell me how many successes you have.
Auspex is 2. Let me see. Poor. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes.
Oh, nice. Great.
You see.
Oh, it's a versus. Sorry, detecting a vampire using obfuscate would be a roll wits plus Auspex versus wits plus obfuscate. So I might not be able to see the whole clan.
Do I need to roll wits plus obfuscate?
Depends on
whether Ramji, I'll let you do that.
Oh, you have Auspex, is it, Ramji?
Ramji has obfuscate.
So wits I have 2.
Oh, right.
I have 3, so that's 4.
Remember to add your hunger dice.
What?
Don't add your hunger dice. No, don't add your hunger dice to it. Not for this roll.
Okay.
For purposes of describing a little bit more about Sense the Unseen, it also works on ghosts, dormant blood sorcery spells and rituals.
Perfect.
And obfuscated people. So
thank you.
If I'm using regular D10s, anything above a 5 is a success, or anything above a 6?
6 or more.
6 or more.
And
so
if you have multiple 10s, the specials.
I have 2 10s.
That counts as 4.
And then 9.
That counts as 3. 3.
No, if you have 2 10s, you add +2. So 2 10s is actually 4. It's in the book.
Okay.
And it says +1.
No, I'm pretty sure it says plus.
Okay,
Very sure.
I don't know.
Very sure.
One thing I do know is I don't know. So,
How many successes
one,
do you have?
2, 3. So I had 2 10s and a 9, and then the others were.
So that's 5. Okay. You don't see Tariq, but you see. I'm gonna count. 1, 2, 3. You see 4 individuals dressed in Malay traditional clothing. So they're wearing a songkok and they're dressed. So to you, Chantelle, it looks like they're visiting for Hari Raya.
Oh.
Okay, but they're in black. And you can tell that they are obfuscated and they're standing on either side of the ladder.
And kind of apropos to nothing, Chantelle comments, it's kind of the wrong month for the festival. And then continues moving on.
What are you talking about, says John Smith. Okay, now, what I do want to let you all know is that court hasn't started. What this place does have is you are briefed by the staff together with your sires or otherwise. Tariq, you don't hear any of this. You're just required to stand still. Moon and Chantelle, you hear that for this evening, you're allowed to feed on a group of young men in one particular corner. They are all seated and they all have drinks. Oh, shit. Okay, you are allowed to feed on them. Obviously, not to the point of killing them. And that will not be a breach of the Masquerade. So just to let you all know, okay, just for the purposes of this evening, you will also be told that the prince will be arriving soon.
Right.
At this point, other than Tariq, unless Ramji, you specifically want to say, I break the line and I go do other things, you let me know. Okay, Chantelle, Moon. Okay, I'm going to start with Sheena. Okay, tell us what happens in the time between now and half an hour later when the prince arrives. What do you and John Smith do?
So John Smith is basically kind of pulling her around and parading her to the other kindred that he knows of, especially the more powerful ones, kind of like, hey, see my daughter, that kind of thing, you know? Yeah, and she's just doing her best to be on her best behavior, greeting everyone very politely, you know, trying to cause zero offense, but also like just watching everyone and observing things.
You meet some people whom you find very familiar. Isn't that a high court judge? Isn't that a famous aesthetics doctor? Isn't that a famous realtor? Okay. And isn't that the live stream girl who went viral last month? Yeah, it's Moon.
Yeah, I said hello to her already just.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, that's her. You suddenly remember. Okay. So I'm going to go over to Joe. What does Moon and Star do in that half an hour?
So when you say that it's obviously not an iPhone 13 launch, what do you mean? Like, are there iPhone 13s there? Or is it just not a launch? You know what I mean?
They're obviously pretending there's an iPhone 13 launch.
Are there iPhone 13s available? Because that would be very interesting.
There are me phones there that look very much like iPhone 13.
All right. Okay, so I think Starfire is just going to, because for business, she's just going to go to the people who are supposedly managing the launch and asks to see the iPhone 13. So that we can see like the front-facing camera, what are the specs, kind of thing, like, is it any good? Like, so like in future, even if it's not available now, then we can bring the iPhone 13 back so that we can like stream on the go in case like we need to go and do some night streaming. I mean, especially if we're doing like stuff outside on location.
This particular gentleman who's wearing a hoodie walks over to Star and you can hear him apologize. Sorry lah. I know you want to see, but you don't have the actual one. I mean, I have one lah. You want to see mine? I show you lah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you be careful. And he's like he's watching the two of you like a hawk as you do it. You notice that, interestingly, even though he's wearing a hoodie, his entire face is in shadow. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's all black.
Right.
It's like, those, it's like in Scream, no, or like the Grim Reaper,
Right.
Below the hood, it's just black. You can't see his face. It's really weird.
Okay.
And
Sasa just like,
Sasta, go ahead.
so Moon Moon is just like, hey, can I see his hands or anything? What race does he appear to be?
Chinese.
Chinese.
He's quite short actually. He's about 1.6 meters. Sorry, 1.57 meters. Tall.
Okay, so I use my Chinese. Hey, Sugar! Have you ever thought about using whitening creams? You know, because we
Sasta
sell.
grabs you and says, "Shh, don't call people anyhow." Then she turns around, sorry, she's new, sorry. Then he very slowly but firmly grabs the phone, takes it back, and you see that his hands shaking. Shit, he turns and walks away. And then Sasta pulls you to a corner. Here, you don't anyhow call people striker.
Oh, sorry. I thought everybody is a close striker. Because sometimes you don't know.
Especially
uncle,
if they're wearing something that's hiding their face, you don't call them striker, okay? Very sensitive.
Sorry, Daji, sorry.
Okay, you cannot call menu, you cannot call striker.
Sorry, Daji.
Especially those hiding their face.
Okay, I know already. Sorry, Daji. Sorry.
And it's at this moment that there is a hush that descends on the crowd as the gentleman on the ladder steps off to one side. And strangely, at the very same time, it seems like he has an identical twin that steps off the other side. And suddenly, they're flanking a woman. She seems to be in her 50s. She's wearing top to toe a beautiful golden yellow outfit. She looks very much like the if you've seen Malay weddings, she looks like how you would think the bride would be dressed, like royalty. She looks like royalty, right? And as one, everyone other than the young men in the corner, you notice that everyone else stands. And at that moment, the three of you realize that these are the rest of the kindred. There's fully about 30 plus, maybe 40 of them, and all of them are. Chantal and Moon, you follow as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
She just raises a hand, and then she turns and whispers something to the two young men next to her. The two of them both look identical. And then this particular gentleman makes a gesture, and he says, "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Puan Bulang is pleased that all of you have made time to join us this evening. I will now hand over to her senescal, Mr. Park." This Chinese man steps forward, and he's very nondescript. If you've thought of a nondescript, average-looking, middle-aged Chinese man, this is it. Looks like anyone you will meet in the street and forget immediately. He steps up and he says, hello, welcome everyone. Hello, my name is Alan Park. You all know this already. You can call me Al. Welcome. Welcome to Elysium. We meet every quarter. Very good to see all of you again. It's nice to see that you are all well. There are quite a few things to settle tonight, but it's quite nice that we always start by meeting the newbies. So, as you all know, there were 3 boons that were turned in some time ago, and then we have 3 newcomers, new additions to our family, the Camarilla family. Nobody laughs. And
I laugh just because I've been conditioned to laugh when people laugh.
a few people glance at you. He nods in their direction and continues and says, so we should meet each and every one of them. As always, as the representative of the princess, her senescal, I will be speaking for her. So if the 3 of you can come forward, please. Samira's child, can you step forward?
Question.
Yes.
Should I? Because
Yes.
I've been given, I should, right?
Yes,
That's my-
you've been briefed by Samira. If told to by the prince, the seneschal, a sheriff, or a primogen. Go ahead.
JFDI. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I will step forward towards the seneschal.
Okay. L says, hello. Okay. And then second one is John Smith's child. Sorry, it's Stanford Raffles. Then there's a few sniggers in the crowd.
I again go.
And that's okay because everyone else is sniggering also. That you see the prince actually raise her hand to her mouth.
I laugh louder.
So John Smith's child, come forward, please.
I step forward. I'm assuming John Smith is probably doing the yes, this is my.
He does. He seems to
Vanna Whiting me.
He seems to be completely blind to the fact that people are laughing at him.
I ignore the laughter. I step forward and I kind of do a slight bow.
And one more. This is Star, your child.
So I remember I cannot say striker, but essentially I step forward and I got 1 point in etiquette. So do I know anything about how I should behave?
You know that you shouldn't say anything unless you've been spoken to by a Camarilla elder. So against my burning desire to sell things, specifically myself, I just and I do my charming sort of laugh like and then I get into position. L, the Chinese seneschal, looks at the three of you and says, "Wow, not bad, huh? Got 2 chobu." Okay, so I see you're really star as a child. Okay, so
Sorry.
the three of you, it is as per tradition. I have to ask you all to repeat to the prince what the 6 traditions are individually lah. Okay, so we will start with Tariq. Tariq, what is the first tradition, please?
The first tradition is that of Masquerade.
Please to explain briefly so that we know you understand.
We should not reveal our own natures to those who are not of the blood. Otherwise, we renounce our claim to the blood.
Thank you. Chantelle, what is the second tradition?
The second tradition is the domain. Thy domain is thine concern. All others owe thee respect while in it. None may challenge thy word while in thy domain.
Wow, you're really toxic one, huh? Okay lah, your Shakespeare, good. Okay, and then Moon, right? Your star shout.
Yes.
What is the third tradition, please?
Okay. Hello， 段段笨笨，各位先生女士们，sorry damn you, I don't know lah, but anyway, thank you everybody. So the third tradition is progeny. Okay, so sire only with the permission. Oh, I forgot. Sire only with the permission of one's elders. Yeah, Shakespeare.
Correct. Okay, thank you. Tariq, the fourth tradition, please.
The fourth tradition is that of accounting. If you
the one you know, you look like a numbers person.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Yeah, you explain.
When you create your children, you are responsible for them, and the sins of your child are your sins to bear.
Very good. Thank you. Miss Shakespeare, Chantelle, your fifth tradition?
I can simplify. Fifth tradition, hospitality. Honor one another's domain. When you go to a foreign city, you must present yourself to the ruler there. Without word of acceptance, you are nothing.
Yeah, hard to travel now, but if you happen to go to Malaysia, remember that they are still our allies. Then there's a few in the crowd that goes. You hear a few sighs in the crowd. They are our allies, Malaysia allies. Okay, and Moon, sixth tradition.
Okay. Destruction is the right to kill kindred is only reserved for the elder of the community.
Here you know who it is, right?
He's the antique over there.
Yes.
Antique.
So, Puan Bulong is our prince, and by tradition, she's the only one that has the right lah. So y'all don't kill anyone, y'all don't anyhow, Okay, thank you, the three of you. So at this point, usually, Puan Bulang, I will ask if you have anything for these three new children. Puan Bulang slowly turns and places a hand over her mouth, and you can't hear a damn thing. She's either speaking very quietly or not saying anything at all. But one of the two identical twins next to her leans over, nods, walks over to Al, the senesco, and then whispers something in his ear. And Al says, "Oh, okay. So there's some business that we need to take care of tonight that the children shouldn't be involved in. So then he's glancing around. Floyd, you also new here, right?" Then this in the corner, you see a guy stand up, and for whatever reason, it seems damn obvious to the three of you that he's Vietnamese. Whether it's an assumption, a stereotype, a profiling, something about him screams Vietnamese. Hey, this very smiley Vietnamese man walks over. Yeah, I am new. And he says, "Okay, Floyd, you will take these three new children and then you will introduce them to Singapore, take them around, show them a good time away from their sires, because we have some business with the sires." Okay? Good man. And Floyd, "Okay, no problem." So Al turns to the three of you. "This is Floyd. He's our good friend from Hanoi. Okay? Floyd is very, very famous for showing people a good time. So he will take you away from the stress of being with your sire. And for this evening, anything you do, he will die. Okay? Okay." Floyd suddenly is like, and it says, "So the accounting tonight is on Floyd lah. Your sires, there's some business here with the rest of us. Okay, so you all head off with him lah." Okay.
Before I head off, I tell Star, "Datie, I go first. See you back at the office. Thank you."
Star is like, Star grabs you and she says, "If you don't see me back, you know what to do with all the files and the documents.
Yeah. I know.
Make sure that they cannot find it. If they find out, we are all, including Lawrence, all of us are dead."
Yeah. I know. Don't worry, Datie. I know.
Remember us, you don't see me for 72 hours. You code red.
Okay.
Okay. Chantelle, does John Smith say anything to you as you go?
John Smith has separation issues, so he's like, yes, there are some business to be taken care of. Chantelle, yes, I'll meet you back at the home, and just behave yourself, yes, girl? Pats her on the cheek like, she's a child. Chantelle, in response to that, is quite calm, just looks at him with like a sort of rather dead face. All right, see you later, John. And just walks away.
Nice. Tariq, the man who spoke to you earlier, Tua, steps away from the side of the prince and comes to you and says, "Okay, Tariq, you just be aware that whatever happens, you must make sure that we are in charge. We are the rulers. Always make sure they remember that. We are the leaders, okay? Even the Vietnamese men, you must remind him, we are the rulers, we are the leaders in this city. Clear?"
I sort of lean closely and say, Do you suspect treachery?
No, but Floyd is not local.
Understood.
And I don't want to contradict Wan Bulang, but she thinks that the three of you will be safer with him tonight than with the rest of us. As they say, in all the TV shows, something big is going down. So you all stay with Floyd tonight, and then tomorrow, then we reevaluate the situation. If you cannot find me, you can find my brother Jibat. He walks away. And the three of you are escorted outside by the very friendly and very excitable Vietnamese gentleman. Okay, right. Hey, so I'm Floyd. So you introduce yourself. Chantelle, Moon, Tariq. Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
He whispers, you've not been kindred very long, right?
No, about a month.
Yeah, I also.
We're sisters in a different way.
Oh yeah, so nice to meet you, sister. Yeah.
And Chantelle gets a bit distracted staring at the shiny bits on Momo's outfit.
Hey, nice. You want? I give you a special price. They got sell, on our live stream. You want?
It's shiny. Like the stars. But you're the moon.
So clever. You really like Shakespeare. Wow, not bad Hey, wow, you say Ang Mo. Hey, Ang Mo good Huh? Ang Mo good Handsome Huh? Ang Mo. Huh?
He's like a weight around my ankles.
Oh. Yeah, some Ang Mo no good Ang Mo. Never mind. We're gonna talk to the other one. This one I heard him speak in American accent.
Hey, so Tariq, you've got the fancy car, right? The Tesla, the one where you can do that summon by phone thing. Floyd is obviously indicating that he wants to use your ride for the evening.
Yeah, so Tariq looks at him and says, I take the bus.
Really? You take the bus?
There's a COVID cluster now.
Oh, yeah. Be careful.
Don
says
we can't.
Yeah, well, we've got to find a way to, stay on the down low.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'll take that car.
Yeah. I drive car better. I don't need to wear mask.
Yeah.
Even though it's a masquerade.
And
That's funny.
he laughs with you, and he backs away. He walks to the car, and he pulls the handle, and the door opens.
Thank you.
And you all think, oh, he must have a key fob with him. That must be his vehicle. But you all can't avoid that nagging feeling that just a moment ago, you'll remember that he asked Tariq for a car. Okay.
To be clear, it's not my car he's boosting, right?
No.
Cool. Tariq gets in the passenger side.
All right. It's a black-colored Audi SUV. All right. Very roomy. The ladies are in the back. Tariq's riding shotgun. Floyd is driving.
I tapped Tariq on the shoulder. Hi, could I have a notice that you were speaking in an American accent just now?
I'm sorry, I do not speak the local languages.
I know. So I speak American also. I just wanted to say hi. I could have a notice that you were speaking in an American accent just now.
My apologies. I did not mean to be rude. Yes, I speak in an American accent.
Yes.
From around the place.
Yeah. So I just want to say hi. I think we're all new. So it's been a long time.
So you are Ongmu. My name is Tariq.
I'm sorry?
You said your name was Ongmu?
No. My name is Moon, that beautiful, like the moon in the sky.
Oh, your name is Moon.
Yeah, just like Chantelle, my sister here, she said that, my dress got so many stars, but I'm the moon. So funny, right? So poetic.
Yes, poetry. I am acquainted with you now. That is good. My name is Tariq, like the tea.
Yeah, funny. I speak a bit Malay. Are you Malay?
No.
So you are, yeah, actually, I don't meet a lot of Americans like you, but it's good to be unique.
I am not a eunuch.
So funny. Anyway, this is my sister. Her name is Chantelle.
Hello. We're not
hello,
really
Chantal.
sisters, but we died about the same time.
She a bit, I don't know what she did during the party just now, but she seemed to be a little bit woo-woo. But, it's okay. We're out here for a good time.
Yeah, no need to be so morbid, This is the new life, as they say, right? Yeah.
It's helpful having all of you here.
Yeah, he puts his hands on the steering wheel. Okay, where to?
I thought you were supposed to show us Singapore.
You're the locals. I'm Vietnamese.
I am far from local, I'm afraid. And I do not think you necessarily want to go to Sentosa Cove.
Oh, okay. Where do you want to go?
Chantelle? Anywhere you want to go? Maybe you missed last time before we died. Anywhere you want to go? I said, we're very tiring. Chantelle, anywhere you want to go or not?
I don't know. In Singapore, usually we go and eat things, but we can't really eat things anymore.
We can go eat things. Actually, the easy eating is inside. Did y'all feed just now on those boys?
Never, actually.
I'm not hungry. We ate before we came.
Yeah. Okay lah. Okay. Tell you what. Y'all don't know, right? Okay. We go and see the Merlion, huh? Only because got one American, one Vietnamese lah.
All right. Okay. Merlion. You see him bring up the touch screen, and he's very familiar with the controls. And he types in Merlion, let's go. And he drives, and you'll find yourself in front of the Fullerton Hotel staring at the Merlion. He's like, okay, it's spitting water. And all of you at this point are all wearing masks, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
To fit in. Okay.
Mine is shiny.
So is Floyd. And he's like, okay, it's spitting water. Wow. People come to Singapore to see this?
Okay.
Yes, I've never understood this Merlion. It seems impractical.
Okay, so anyway, Tariq, there's this trick, right, that you can do. So basically, you can take photo because I know
I'm really sorry, I do not speak your language. It would be much easier if you spoke English. I apologize for my own ineptitude.
Okay. Never mind. It's okay. Maybe he's from a different part of America. Okay, never mind. So
you want me to take a photo for you?
Yeah. I can take photo, but I know some of y'all cannot take, right?
Oh no, we're all okay. There's no.
I can go first.
Yeah.
So Chantelle walks over and assumes the position, that all tourists do, and opens her mouth to receive the spittle of the Merlion.
And Floyd takes a photo for you. All right. Yeah, phone that's not connected to internet because internet's scary, right?
Tariq is watching Floyd and the two girls sort of engage in a social interaction, and it's just, you can hear his brain, you can just clearly hear it ticking, going, it's interesting. They're doing things, and I don't really understand the point of it. But I think I need to in order to play the game along. And so he goes, yes, that is most funny.
Yeah, you'll stop connecting to internet when I started last year because otherwise everyone gets fucked up, right?
Why cannot connect to the internet?
Oh, you're still connected to internet?
She does live sales. She's the S-hook girl.
Yeah, I mean, not really lah. I'm like the girl lah, but yeah.
Wow, you Singaporeans are crazy, yeah.
Why cannot connect to the internet?
How are things in
should not
Vietnam?
be using the internet. Not with your identities in any way.
Yeah, I mean, y'all didn't hear what happened to those guys in America and Britain.
What happened?
They were tracked down by the CIA, the FBI, MI6. Then they killed them while they were sleeping. Bombed their havens, exploded their bathtubs, demolished their buildings, went in SWAT teams, guns blazing, boom, 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 because they were on the internet. But you're in Singapore, so that's different, right? Singapore, yeah, Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah. More pictures? I'm not connected to the internet, it's all safe.
So Tariq Tariq looks over at Floyd and he says, so you are from Vietnam?
Yeah, man. Vietnam.
What is that like?
He stops for a moment and turns to him, smiles and says, yeah, under his mask, of course, and he says, Vietnam, very good place. Lots of beautiful people, good feeding. Also government crazy. Government just found out about us. Government trying to kill us. So I'm here, as you can say, as a guest of your prince.
See.
Is it just you? Are there more people from Vietnam?
Just me for now.
But
I'm very happy to be here in your company.
Is it because of the internet?
Maybe.
No, but no, you don't understand, because my calling is to be on the internet. I should have a big following.
Oh, well, if the prince doesn't say anything, then it's none of my business, right? I'm just a tourist.
Okay.
So, where do you want to go next?
Tell me, what happened in this when these people found out in your country about us peoples? What did they do to you, or what did they do to the people that you knew?
We talk in the car. Come.
Yes, let's.
When you get in the car, Floyd turns around and he looks quite serious and he says, the Communist Party does not appreciate having vampires in their city. They like control. We are not a controllable element. So we are in negotiations.
Only bloodsuckers, huh?
We are in negotiations to see whether we can live, let's say, peacefully. But in the meantime, I've read the tea leaves and I decided to come to Singapore, where I have friends like Al, and it's a lot safer for me.
Yeah, we are. Our government likes to welcome foreign talent, so welcome.
Moon, Chantelle, Tariq, I'd like you all to make an insight roll. Bits plus insight. As you're speaking to Floyd.
Okay. So do we roll blood dice for this?
No need. No need under dice.
3, 4, 5. 5.
I do not have many dice here.
I have 5.
And I have one more dice.
Oh, but that's good. That's good. That's I think it's 3.
3 for Tariq, 5 for Chantelle, Moon.
I rolled one success, which is an 8 and 1 10.
Yeah.
The rest were all.
That's 2. Yeah, if you have only one 10, then it's just 1. If you have 2 10s, then it becomes 4.
Oh, no, it's not 2 10s. It's 1 8.
And 1 0.
Yeah.
So that's 2. So 2 for Moon, 3 for Tariq, 5 for Chantelle. Moon, Tariq, you can both tell that Floyd is putting on an act. His accent is all over the place. You believe he's Vietnamese, but he's putting on some sort of act. You're not sure what. Chantelle, Floyd is genuinely nervous underneath the act. He's very worried about something, but you don't know what.
Chantelle suddenly kind of zeroes in on Floyd, moves up to him, reaches out a hand and touches him on the shoulder. I know it's scary, but you're safe now. What worries you?
Floyd meets each of your eyes in turn, steels himself, doesn't take a breath because he doesn't need to breathe. And he says, okay, I will tell you all, but please don't be alarmed. I think that tonight there is going to be a Sabbath attack. And the four of us are the weakest and most useless, so they don't want us to be there. And reading Moon's reaction straight away, he says, do you know what the Sabbath is?
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Did your sires, you're very new, did your sires tell you what the Sabbath is?
No, actually my sire don't tell me very much.
John said something about barbarians.
So, got invasion.
So I'm of the Banu Hakim, so I presume...
I'll leave it to you. How much did Samira tell you?
Well, I will have known about the Assamites, but I don't know would I care about the schism since then?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, got it. So I have little knowledge or care.
Okay, you're really children. So let Floyd tell you. So they call me Floyd. My real name is Voiloy Dirk. My real name is Dirk.
I'm gonna need you to spell that in chat. Sorry.
D-U-C.
Okay.
Okay. But you can call me Floyd. The Sabbath is, if you want to think of it, they're the opposite of the Camarilla. They're the ones that want humans to know who we are. They think that we should own the humans. But they are also the ones that want to break the Masquerade in such a big way that it's going to get us all killed. And you can see a tiny sheen of blood appear on his forehead. He's sweating blood. He's genuinely worried. I think what's happening is that in Indonesia, the terrorists that make up the bulk of the Sabbath there are trying to escape, and they're coming from that island to the south called Batam.
Batam? Batam.
So
I always go there for massage.
Yeah, I mean they didn't tell me that I cannot tell you all, but you were sent away with me because the four of us will probably get in the way. They don't want us. I mean, my best read of that is they don't want the Camarilla to look bad.
Okay. So right, the thing is that I am hired, okay, by my sire, and they didn't say how long we have to go away for. Can we go back already or not? Maybe we go back and help lah.
We give them the rest of the night.
But then what if they cannot tackle? Then how?
I mean, if you really want to go back, I mean, what do the other two of you think?
Hey, you're the sire all back there, right? Hey, you must go back and help, you know?
Chantelle, Tariq.
Do I? Do I really have to?
Oh, okay lah, your sire is a cao mo lah. Tariq, your sire is back there, right? We have to go back and help, right? What are you eating?
What's eating you, Tariq? What eating you?
The Moon is pretty stressed that nobody seems to want to go back because her boss / her sire is back there.
Floyd looks at you, Moon, and says, "Well, I mean, are you very good in a fight?"
I don't know. I can. Last time I got like 5 people, break bottle, pull people hair, or.
Have you seen kindred fighting before?
No, never.
Okay, you hear that? Did your sire tell you about how fast we can move? We can grow claws.
I see before. Okay, when Star get a bit angry, then she move very fast, and then she grow claws, and she throw things on the floor. She's very angry. But I mean, all the same, how many people are attacking them?
So the main part of the Sabbath now, a lot of them are actual monsters lah. They're from this clan that they look actually like monsters.
Chantelle, Tariq, what you think? We should go back, right?
My entire clan are there. I do not think I will be able to protect or help them in any significant way. I do not think you will either. And in fact, I suspect, if anything else, our main task will just be to survive the night.
Didn't the stars give you instructions?
Oh yeah.
You have to stay undead in order to carry out the instructions.
Okay. So what do we do now? I mean, you want us to go around and see the Merlion? You want us to go and see the promontory? You want to go to see Marina Bay Sands? While like everybody we know is maybe like under attack? Is that what you all want?
No, you can go back to your people.
Then what are you all going to do? But I think we should stick together, because my people are really people, they're not vampires. I don't want to draw problems to them. Tariq, you look like you got money. Is there somewhere we can go? Is there somewhere can you keep us somewhere safe or something? I don't know.
I can find somewhere for us to stay, if that is what you want, but that does not. A minute ago you were talking about going somewhere. Now you're talking about, hunkering down to stay something. I will obviously open up one of my places for us to hunker down in if that is what you wish.
Generous of you.
Do you all know the rest? I mean, maybe we can go hide in the Anarch territory.
Where is the Anarch territory?
That sounds fun. John says I'm not supposed to go there because they're bad influence.
Oh, but it would be the safest place. The Anarch territory is where the Sabbath don't fuck with in every city.
Let's go. Do you know where they are, Floyd?
Does that sound like a terrible idea, Ed?
You weren't ever told specifically that it was out of bounds, but associating with the Anarchs, being in Anarch territory is not a bad thing in and of itself. Associating publicly with an Anarch might make you look bad.
I have a fair amount of streetwise. I don't know if that helps in any way, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So from what he's saying you can go hide in Anarch territory.
Don't party with the Anarchs.
He's drawing the line there.
Okay.
And
where is Anarch territory?
Oh, they told me about this place called Changi.
Oh, Changi. Yeah, they got very few people. So probably not a lot of people to look out for us also lah. So okay lah. Let's go.
Pokemon, yeah. Back when I used to be able to connect to the internet. Oh wait, hang on, let me.
I connect for you lah. Come, you want what GPS is it? I find for you, come.
So Floyd drives you all to Changi. I'm just gonna bring that up. My little Changi mood board. Just waiting for the presentation to hit.
The village has good food.
Yeah, but we cannot eat also. Huh?
We could, but we just have to puke it out later. It's not good. It's a mental disorder, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I think
Mm.
sometimes the other live streamers, they also do that, they eat and they pick up.
So this is my advertisement for Singapore. If you come and visit Changi Village, it's a beautiful place at night. It actually does look in parts like this. But for the locals, they're like, "Oh, Changi Village can look like this."
Yeah, man.
Basic care, folks. It's so pretty.
I thought like Anarch territory would be like Hougang.
That's
Okay.
like that is like 2 a.m. There's nobody there. They've had a 20-minute long exposure to make it look that good.
No, it looks more like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks more like Changi Village. Okay. So
It's a good hawker though.
yeah, it
it's
is.
very good.
So Floyd drives you to Changi Village, and then he says, "Okay, we can hide out here with all the mortals, or we could go somewhere more quiet. You know, the quietest part of this place."
Pulau Ubin.
Well, there's that, but the boats aren't running. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No way.
You know, there's this abandoned place in
Oh, the
Changi.
hospital. Wow, I don't know. What do you think, Chantelle? Huh?
Well, I probably see a lot of things.
Aiyo.
But okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Huh? I will make the decisions. Okay, for tonight.
Tariq, you're not going to object?
If I'm getting no bad vibes from Floyd,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna, just assume that's what people do in these sorts of social situations.
So the three of you... sorry, go on.
I am very scared. I don't know whether you can tell that I'm very scared.
Floyd looks significantly calmer now that he's here in Anarch territory. Okay.
Ed, just
Yes.
to let you know, I also have premonition. So if at any point in time you decide you want to give me a vision, please feel free to give me a vision.
You see this, Chantelle?
Oh, that's a familiar sight.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
So Chantelle, you do see that, and you also see something about Floyd. He seems to flash a bit whenever he's talking about the Anarchs. There's something a little too happy about him when he talks about the Anarchs.
Mm. Okay,
Okay.
sure.
He drives you out to the hospital, and it is pitch dark. It's illuminated only by the headlights of the car. And he says, "Okay, right, we all can't see in the dark, so I'll just leave the lights on. I think we should be safe here."
At this point, you can see Moon is looking very, very yeah. Maybe we just stay outside, huh? We don't go inside, huh?
Okay, we can stay in the car. Chantelle, you can see figures walking out onto the corridor to look at the car.
Mm-hmm. Are there
Yes.
any near the car?
They're all in the building, and you can see there are figures walking out of the rooms. Like there's 2 or 3 on each level, walking out and appearing at the corridor and peering down the car.
I peer back at them, and I'm just silently staring
So,
at the different
Moon-
figures coming out. So you can see
Moon-
my eyes tracking them coming out. Of
Mumu, you see Chantelle doing that. Tariq, you see Chantelle doing that too.
So what you also see is that the front seat appears empty
oh shit.
as the obfuscate 2 is kicked in.
As the old what?
Obfuscate too. He's
Oh,
disappeared from sight.
okay.
You know about this, right? Stars told you that.
I
vampires
do.
can disappear.
Do I see the door open?
Not yet.
No, nothing's happening yet.
I
Okay.
think
But
you
you
need to
do
be
s-
out of sight of people before you can do that, though.
I mean, do I know that they could? How do I know that they? I guess the question is, as they were coming up.
If you're in the front seat, I'm fine with you disappearing.
Because the headlights and stuff, I guess that's the question.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
And I guess at that point, I'm going to take a quick look at Floyd. And what's the look on his face?
Floyd is like, okay. We're not alone here.
Cool. So I will pop the passenger door open.
No.
Look at it.
As I see the passenger door pop open, I'm like, okay, sorry, my American friend. Okay, maybe there's something I'm not familiar with. Okay, and so like in Singapore, like there's many different kind of ghosts. Got Chinese ghosts, Malay ghosts, Indian ghosts, and others ghosts like you. Okay, so basically, here they all come to this hospital.
And suddenly, Mumu, you're interrupted by a loud scream from inside the hospital, and all three of you, if your blood still flowed, it would have frozen as you notice a pair of red eyes appear on the roof, and that's where we end this session.
Dun, dun, dun.
If it's a werewolf, we're fucking running. God damn it.
Yeah,
We got car.
I'm just like, okay,
So,
I need to be able to run.
so thank you for joining us for session 0, folks, of Singapore by Night.
Yay.
So with me tonight, it's been as Chantelle, Sheena Chan, as Tariq Ramji, and as Moon Jotan. I've been your storyteller, Edward Choy, and you can see all of us playing Ramji's game on Mondays on the Fourth Culture at 7 p.m. Singapore time. So thank you for joining us this evening. We'll be continuing Singapore by Night next Thursday at 7 p.m. We plan to make this a regular thing. And as you notice, that it's a slightly shorter sort of stream. It's about anything from 2 to 2.5 hours. We hope you enjoyed that. If there were things you liked or didn't like about it, or that you'd like to talk about, join us on our Discord, which is right here in the links. And once again, we'd like to say thank you for joining us and see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.